It's effing Monday, everybody, and this is UCY.TV live Monday Night Radio Boiler Room. You are listening to it. I am the host of it. My name is Jim Funke. My co-host over on the East Coast is Mr. Lance Musser. Good evening, Mr. Lance Musser. Come in.
Good evening, Jimmy.
How's everything over there for you today?
That got me giggling. It's pretty good, pretty good. It was cold today, but, you know, we're talking doubling in temperatures tomorrow. Get up near 60, so.
Yeah, it was almost, it was like 50, I think it got up to 53 today here. It was beautiful in the afternoon. Kind of cloudy in the morning. Wind was coming up out of the south, though, man. You knew it was going to get warm. Mm-hmm. And once them clouds rolled out and all the chemtrails kind of pushed off to the side, then the sun came out, and man, it was, I mean, late this afternoon, about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Oh shit, it was gorgeous. Felt like springtime.
Not here, but that's what's coming here. You know, that's what's coming here in the next couple of days. Yeah. Yep. And it's funny because we used to say here in Virginia, they were saying if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. Cause we were one of those areas where you could get all four seasons in a day.
Yep.
And that's everywhere now. I mean, everybody's talking about it. North Dakota, it was warmer than North Dakota today than it was here.
Well, we saw that one meme on Facebook, or that one that story on Facebook said that, you know, it's been in the 32 degree range for 2 weeks or 15 days or something up in Alaska, in Anchorage.
Yeah.
Green grass growing on Northern Lights Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right down the street from where I used to live, right in front of the bank.
And did you ever remember seeing green grass in February?
February? No. There was like 6 inches of ice on top of my car in February. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, we were wearing mucklucks and baklava everywhere, and yeah, it was yeah. Very strange, man. The earth is tilting a little farther than it should, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's proof of that, so.
Yeah, I saw another thing online today about the position of the moon over the last month, over the month of January, from January 1st to January 31st. They had it all plotted out. And then they went to Wiki, our famous Wiki, and they looked up the transition of the moon across the sky and where it's supposed to be in January and what it's supposed to look like and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be damned if that moon wasn't 180 degrees out from where it was supposed to be through the month of January, according to the pictures anyway. Now, you can call me crazy if you want to. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, a crayon eater, or tinfoil hat wearer, whatever you want, but pictures don't lie.
I already got the explanation.
Go for it.
Well, when you look through a telescope, you know it's 180 degrees, so that's what they'll say. They'll say one of them was a picture through a telescope, and then without refracting it.
What?
Yeah, that's what I mean, you know, come on. I know how the
and they explain that moving rock on Mars too. So, I mean, they come up with an explanation for the, you know, the disappearing rock or the reappearing rock or the magically appearing rock. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. I'll keep eating my crayons. I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. And well, I'll be happy. So anyway.
Much happier.
Yeah. Let's dive off into Smoke'em's Market Minute. I know you don't have a whole lot because it was a holiday today.
You're absolutely right.
Thank your recent Tyrant Day.
Mm-hmm. So President's Day, is that what it was?
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, federal holiday, banking holiday. They didn't pick up the trash on the street. That's everybody else worked except bank and federal employees. So
bastards.
No
$10.10 an hour for you fuckers.
Yeah, for the 2% of the people that weren't already making it.
Right.
But, you know, like you said, the markets were closed, so market reporting itself was light. So that was good news, as your 401k didn't lose anything.
You might have over in Japan, though. We don't know what the Nikkei did.
No, it did okay. I just saw that one actually on Bloomberg right before I came on, because those markets don't celebrate President's Day, so they were Tyrant Day. Interesting story though from Bank of America, or a blurb from Bank of America, and I'll drop the link in chat room here in a second. The story is breaking from Secrets of the Fed, which the X-22 report had it, and that's the video I'm going to drop in there is the X-22 report. If y'all haven't watched the X22, he's great. I mean, they're all 20 to 30 minutes long.
Yeah, he's kind of long-winded, but it's full of information.
Yeah, and you get done with 30 minutes, you're like, damn, where'd that 30 minutes go? It was so quick. It was full of information.
Yep. And he covers stuff that a lot of people don't.
Top banking executives are now coming to admit that the U.S. dollar is deep in trouble. The recent video from X22. Yeah. Shares that Americans are rapidly losing hope as the economic collapse accelerates. Is this part of the reason bankers are now being suicided? You know, that's a new word being used now. Not murdered, they're suicided to keep their mouths shut. And we're going to go into more of this later, I'm sure. To keep their mouths shut about the pillage and destruction of the dollar. Add more fuel to the fire. A Bank of America analyst has warned that the global economy is sending us, quote, clear warning signs at the end of the dollar is near. On February 16th, a Bank of America analyst announced that the global economy is giving out clear warning signs. Global financial commodity markets are warning that the U.S. dollar is set for a bout of trouble, warns Bank of America, McNeil Curry. Across asset classes,
it's
Curry
about in a lot of trouble already. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it's been in a lot of trouble. But Curry points out that gold was first to make its low against the U.S. dollar. Just more and more, the dollar has fallen 120 basis points, down from 81.3 to just above 80. And then gold has climbed more than $100 since January 9th. So
yeah, it won't go back below the 1,300 now.
Nope. So it's validating,
yes,
the cracks that are showing up in the dollar by going physical.
Get out of the market, people. Get your money out. All right.
And speaking of silver, because, we've been talking about it. You've been talking about it forever. Be prepared for the next great transfer of wealth. Silver is the new
gold.
Buy physical silver, storable food. Those are your two things. Soros Fund
Management. And a source of water filtration.
Yeah, that would be good. Solar panels, if you can get them, but water filtration at a minimum would be a good one.
And learn how to skin a deer. Cook a squirrel. Garden.
And you'd be amazed. You can, I learned how to skin a deer, from YouTube.
Yeah. You got to be careful who you get a hold of, man. I mean, you want to make sure the guy you're watching is a professional. Cause there's some jackasses out there that don't go into it's not as easy as you think it is. And you can taint your meat pretty quick if you don't know what you're doing. So
yeah, anyway, it doesn't look easy, but
we digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Soros, going on to the next story.
Oh yeah, you want to jump off into that, or you want to let Scott go, or do you want to jump off into the Soros thing right now? We can talk at.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me drop that X22 link in there if I can figure that out. Okay, good. That one's in there.
Okay.
But yeah, Soros, which is sticking with the financial part of it, he has doubled his bet for the S&P to head for a fall.
He's expecting it to go, if what I'm seeing right in this article, to 0.04. I don't know. It said George Soros increased his put position on the S&P 500 ETF SPY negative 0.04% by a whopping 154% in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Compared with the third. So he's up 154% on his put. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, which is 1.3 billion
with a B.
Billion that he will make on this
or tend to lose.
But George Soros doesn't lose too much. And again, a put or a short position basically gives the owner the right to sell a security at a set price for a limited time. So he's going to be, selling it, but it's when an investor genuinely believes that the security is really going to decline.
Mm-hmm.
And, we did the story about 8 months ago where we never could prove it. It was him, but all the lines led back to him, of over $1 billion, by doing a put last June, I think we said on the show.
Trying to shake the market. I think
manipulate.
That's what he's doing. Yeah. Well, it's manipulation or just trying to put some, cold water on somebody Or, you know what I mean? Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, the big story is that, if you really look at his put that he did last Friday, he's betting on it to tank here shortly. Doesn't say how long it is, but it's going to be interesting.
He's made some calls in the past, and this guy's got enough money to where he can
manipulate
the market to do whatever he wants it to do. You know what I mean? Not necessarily anything, but you know what you get what I'm saying. This guy's got a shitload of cash. He's been known to make countries fold. He's ruined currencies for entire countries.
Yeah, Bank of England, one other one. I can't remember what it was. We just talked about it last week.
Mm-hmm. What are the two words that signify? I'm going to read from this article just a little bit here. What are the two words that signify the loss of America to the tyrants? The answer, George Soros. Bzz, bzz. You got somebody calling you. This ultimate insider is now dismantling the U.S. Constitution as his mastermind political operative, John Podesta, takes the initiative for this planned tyranny via executive orders. Make no mistake, Podesta was brought into the White House to execute the executive order, i.e. the manipulation, and use the executive branch of the government without the benefit of the Constitution to separate, i.e. the separation of powers. This is called despotism. Podesta is just like Obama, works for the central bankers, and George Soros, aka Yorgi Schwartz, that's George's real name, Yorgi Schwartz. The symbol of greed is a facilitator of this gathering of power into a central location. Soros uses his money to manipulate the politicians and the masses. Therefore, a fully purchased Congress has no interest in stopping this takeover. And that's the truth. Like it or not. This guy, if you look up, just if you don't know who George Soros is, I'm sure if you haven't been living under a rock, you've heard his name before, just listening to mainstream media blurbs or whatever. But if you've never seen a picture of this man, go Google him. That's the face of evil that you're looking at. That's the face of a greedy bastard that will stop at nothing to get what he wants. He will step on anyone. He will have anyone out of his way to get what he wants. This kind of guy doesn't take no for an answer. Watch the markets, people. Some very, very nasty stuff going on there. The manipulation is just completely out of control. The raping of this country is completely out of control. They're seriously talking about bail-ins now. When the banks start wandering over to the federal trough, they're going to call them on their bluffs. They're going to say, no, you're not getting any more federal money. If you want to stay solvent, take your deposits. Am I wrong, Lance?
I think what's going to happen first, and I can't remember if we talked about this or I just saw the video or heard about it on somebody else talking about it on UCY, but it's federal retirement accounts, 401k or TSP, the military ones, all of them tied to the government ones. They're going to take all of it and say, here's your treasury bills, your treasury bonds. We're going to take all your liquid money that we're going to cash out here. Here's bonds to replace it, but you're going to need to hold on to it for 10 or 20 years before you can collect on it. But don't worry, it's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. That's where I think that's where I think it'll start. If there's any kind of bail-in, you go to the money that you have control over the purse strings on.
Right.
The U.S. government has control of the, matching and everything else of the TSP accounts, and withholds the pay of the Department of Defense people that's putting money in those TSP accounts. So again, if you're the one paying them, you have direct control over it. That's where I think it'll start. If it starts, that's where it'll start.
We're getting ready to find out, I reckon.
At some point. I mean, it'll be like Greece, but they took their money and just left them high and dry, up to 70-80% of their money.
That was Cyprus.
And didn't give them Cyprus, and didn't give them even worthless bonds to make them feel good.
They had nothing.
Yeah.
Guy went into the bank Thursday, had $100,000. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, couldn't access your Monday.
Or Monday.
Yeah, couldn't access your money. Went back in Tuesday morning to check his account. He had $30,000 left.
Yep.
It took 70% of everything over 50 grand. They took 70%. That's the Troika that did that, the three banks that now own Cyprus.
And they took a lesser portion of the people that had less money than that.
Right.
But anything over 50,
anything over 50 grand, they took 70%, and then it kind of, graduated down.
Right. So yeah, nobody was left unscathed from it.
It didn't matter if you had $100 in there, you gave them something.
Right. So I don't believe that it'll be any different here, because if there's going to be another bailout of the banks, which they're going to have to do to prop up an illusion of anything, just like they did last time. Yeah. I mean, they've got to get the money from somewhere. They already know they can't even print enough money to pay the interest on the debt now. So
there's not enough trees to put the freaking
Go to Bitcoin. Go to Bitcoin.
Okay, I got to toss this out there because a little birdie brought it up to me today. One of my friends down here that I've made since I moved here. She told me today that she heard from a friend of hers that sometime in the next couple of months, the federal government is going to try to do away with paper money. They're going to turn everyone off on it, and they're going to start collecting it and destroying it and make everyone run on plastic. Digital currency. No more paper. No more coins.
Well, that's Bitcoin. That definition of Bitcoin, if I've ever heard of it.
I don't know. I mean, she said it came from a pretty reliable source, somebody that she trusts. I have not heard anything about this. I have not seen any blurbs about this, and that's what I told her. I said, I really can't comment on that. I can tell you right now that they just printed up all these brand new hundies, these brand new fancy $100 bills, and they just spent a shitload of money because the first batch that came out was screwed up somehow, so they had to redo them all. So, for them to spend that kind of, it's paper money anyway. It's, toy money, but, for them to do all that and go through all that, I don't think that they'd pull the currency off the market that fast. But you never know. These people are weird, man. And that's just another control factor. If they do away with cash and say that it's no longer viable in this country to use paper money, there goes all your backdoor deals, all your underground deals, Where's the dope man going to go? He ain't going to be able to take plastic. Where's the guy selling shine? He ain't going to be able to take plastic. Shade tree mechanics, contractors that work for cash money. Think about that, people. Think about that. If the government does away with paper money, oh boy.
I can't see it.
I can't either, man, but
I can't see it.
These evil people, I wouldn't put it past them now. Sitting here putting the dots together in my head, that's a serious control factor over everybody on this continent. Serious. Think about it.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because you go to
something to look into, because I haven't found anything on it. I've been looking since Debbie told me earlier today. Thanks, Debbie, for that heads up, by the way, because I'm definitely going to be digging into it for the next few days, because her source told her by April 30th they were going to try to eliminate cash in this country.
It'd take a couple year phase out there.
I'm not so sure about that, brother. I mean, to go around and collect it up from everybody that's got it, yeah, but to pull it back from the banks and start destroying it, phew, that'd take a day. Clamp down on the cash, don't pour out the windows, and it all comes back. Start palletizing it, counting it up, and send it off. You know, I wanted everything in triplicate, blah, blah, blah. They could do that. All those banks are FDIC, man.
Well,
when the feds speak, they do.
I mean, if you're on food stamps or whatever they call it,
they're EBT cards now.
Then they're debit cards that just get they're reloadable gift cards basically. Right, so
I mean, there's no more food stamp. You don't get the booklets anymore that you got to tear the coupons out of and shit. It's all EBT. It's all electronic already.
Huh.
You know, you can even get your unemployment on an EBT card if you want to, instead of having it direct deposited into your account if you don't have an account, because some people don't, you know.
You know, it's funny because I'm a golfer, and I've golfed at a lot of high-end golf courses that are members only kind of stuff. And yeah, right. A lot of them, they don't ever accept cash.
Nope.
You know, they do signatures and debit cards and membership numbers. I mean, you never see any cash carrying around. I mean, at a big, like a private golf course. I mean, the rich have been doing that for years and years.
Here's something else Debbie told me today. Debbie Anderson, by the way, she's the one that does my mama's hair. Looks, etc. on 201 North Mountain Home. Debbie told me that her kid, he's like 20-something, I think, went to pay his phone bill at Verizon or something. Maybe Verizon, maybe AT&T, I can't remember. They wouldn't take cash. He tried to pay it in cash. They wouldn't take it. They had to use a debit card. So they had no cash in the store, and they did not have any cash in their register ever since the place opened. They do not take cash at this location. I saw a story. I can't remember where it was. I think Jules posted it once. This has been a couple months ago. Some guy went into a bank in California trying to pay his mortgage with cash, and the bank wouldn't take it.
I remember he filmed it.
Yeah, filmed it. He had all the hundreds laid out right in the window, and he said, I'm putting this on film because I'm putting it on YouTube, lady, as soon as I get home. This bank is not taking my money for my house. I don't know whatever happened to that. I don't know if he took him to court over or not, but this is ridiculous, man. And so, you know, those kind of stories make me think that this whole birdie tweet from Debbie's friend might not be all that far-fetched.
I think the timing's too soon.
I don't know, dude. I guess we're reckoning to find out. It's going to be a strange day in paradise.
If it happens, it will be accompanied by a false flag that will have to make the sheeple think it's a good idea. The money's
contaminated with radiation.
Well, I mean.
Oh no, H9, H5N1, H7N9, it's been bacterialized. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We didn't know anything about the paper stock. It's got some kind of shit on it. If you touch the money, it'll kill you.
To make it work, you'd have to get the sheeple to be begging for it. Just like we've talked about with martial law, you got to get the sheeple begging for it to make it happen. It'd be interesting to see how they pull that off.
Yeah, they'll say they're all super notes from China. Remember, they used to have that big problem back in the early 2000s. Super notes.
Interesting. I'm going to have to I'll dig into that a little bit too.
Thought I'd bring that up.
It's a very interesting story.
It is. It is. All right. We're kind of running behind here. Let's jump over here and let Scott have his 2 minutes and 12 seconds because he's got a couple of good things to say. And you can actually hear him very well now because I think he got his computer fixed. So here's Scott.
It'd be interesting to see how they.
Whoopsie. Hang on a minute. Let me go turn the room down. I usually don't forget to do that.
It's, only today and last Friday.
Okay. Back over to YouTube. Reload that.
Hello, this is Scott and this is the Hype Report. Here are quotes for various items. First, Chinese capital markets frozen. Chinese capital markets are quietly turmoiling as debt issues are delayed. Non-performing loans rose by 28.5 billion yuan or $4.7 billion in the last quarter of 2013. Chinese banks are struggling to keep soured loans in check and extend earnings growth in a slowing economy. Guess I should blame the weather. Wait, Washington has dibs on that excuse. Next, collapse will be terrifying. According to Richard Russell, the real economy, illustrated by Walmart being too expensive for the middle class, continues to sink despite the continued lies by both a desperate government and Fed. It appears with gold above $1,300 an ounce that the Fed is losing its grip. Once it appears that the U.S. gold reserves are gone, that is when gold will go ballistic. With that said, be careful on this potential suckers rally in gold and miners. Next, social contract. In Germany, the German High Court has ruled that children must take care of their parents even if they've not spoken to them in decades. The historic norm was children taking care of their parents until the government stepped in to provide a safety net. So, if the children have to take care of their parents again, why continue the taxes that support seniors for?
Right.
Next, payroll and underemployment. Please take a look at the interactive map showing the payroll to population ratio for each state, where Washington, D.C. is ranked at number 1. In addition, there is an interactive map that shows the underemployment percentage for each state, where North Dakota is ranked at the lowest. Next, food shortages. From the droughts in California and Australia to the low temperatures in China and across the U.S. to the heavy rainfall in Peru and Venezuela, food production this year has been severely hampered. To that end, consider stockpiling additional goods, especially those essential dry goods like rice, beans, wheat, and corn. One of the best investments one can make is to buy food at today's lower prices and consume at tomorrow's higher prices. Next, 7 times the charm? Obama, the imperial douchebag, has got a pin in a phone. In addition, this bastard has ignored the law, such as delaying the Obama-Rec mandate 7 times. So, while Obama is lawless, the opposing Republicans are ballless. Is it any wonder that Biden said that there was no Republican Party? Finally, please prepare now for the escalating economic and social unrest. Good day.
Grow your own food, folks. Start growing your own food.
Yeah, can I add on to that too?
Yeah.
The nation is extremely dependent on fruits and vegetables that are grown out of California. And California is experiencing a drought that they said may last to our lifetime.
Well, 5 years is what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but a long time.
They say a lot of shit, though.
That's true. 99% of our artichokes are grown in the U.S., 44% of asparagus, 2/3 of carrots, 89% of cauliflower, 90% of broccoli, 95% celery, 83% lettuce, 83% spinach, 1/3 of fresh tomatoes, 86% of lemons, 90% of avocados, which I thought they came from Mexico, 88% of fresh strawberries, 97% of fresh plums, and 84% of peaches, are all grown in the U.S. that we rely on for our food source. Mm-hmm. With all the droughts and everything going around, I could see this year cattle, beef going
beef
up.
Prices are going to go up. That's just a given with all the fires and droughts they had in Texas and through the Southwest last year and the year before. So
yeah, beef is up. I mean, I tried to buy some steaks this weekend. I looked around for some, and I mean, the prices of beef is pretty stiff. Yeah. Pork's still good, chicken's still good, but beef is probably on the way up because this has been our driest year on record. Yeah. For the growing places.
Pork's going to be taking a hit too. I can pretty much bet on that. I mean, because the cost of everything is going to go up. Feed, you know.
Well, we have some of the best pork. Edwards Ham right out in Surrey, Virginia you go to edwardsham.com. And I'm telling you, it is the finest ham in the United States, hands down. And they had a great article, hands down. But they showed why the price of ham had gone up 200% or 500% over the last 6 years. And it all had to go back to do with the price of feed, of what it was costing to feed these pigs. Yep. Because of ethanol and people wanting to make alternative sources of fuel with their feed. So it's really raising the prices. And then on top of that, now you get drought. So that's why
feed the world, but they want to turn the corn into gasoline.
Thank you very much.
You know, and here's something else that I don't know if you people know or not. There's a lot of gas stations that are switching over to non-ethanol gas because ethanol gas tears up the inside of your engine like nobody's business.
I thought they just increased it though. Didn't they increase it by 5%?
Some places are increasing it by 5%. They're putting 15% ethanol now instead of 10.
If you're in diesel though, are you still getting the same old diesel? You're not getting that any kind of mixture crap or?
Right. You either get low sulfur or high sulfur. High sulfur is usually for farm applications. That's the shit that smokes really heavy.
Right.
And low sulfur diesel. You can't put alcohol in with diesel. It'll explode the engine because it fires on compression.
Okay, so that'd be good.
Right. But it puts, the ethanol makes your shit spark knock. It's shitty gas, man. Ethanol gas is shitty gas. It eats up outboards. It's horrible. And if you're running a carbureted engine, for Christ's sake, it's even worse on it because it eats up your gas lines. It's horrible on the inside of the carburetor on your floats and shit. It's just, it's
I remember my first car was leaded fuel, Ford Pinto. Yeah. It was leaded fuel.
And I remember when they switched to unleaded gas, some vehicles you had to go out and buy a lead additive and put it in, 104 plus or whatever. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I know lead's bad, but I don't have any problem with them taking lead out of gas.
Lead is bad.
But the ethanol is just, it's a waste. It's such a waste of crop, Use the GMO shit to make alcohol out of, if they're going to do that. Let people eat the real corn and use the GMO shit to make ethanol. If you really want to burn it. I personally don't use it in my truck anymore. I've got a 2006 and I'm telling you right now, since I started burning unleaded or, non-ethanol gas, I get better gas mileage and, seems like I got a little more power.
So where do you get it?
I get mine right up the road here at Jerry's Phillips.
So
he's got a big sign out by the road that says no ethanol in our gas.
So they don't even sell that other kind of gas that.
No, he won't let it go into his tanks.
He won't. I didn't know you had a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know you had a choice. I thought that was EPA bullshit.
Nope. The lead is not the ethanol. Ethanol is merely for crop subsidies. That's the whole reason they started doing it is because the farmers weren't getting paid enough for their corn to go to crop. To go to food resources. So the government stepped in and did the ethanol program and started paying them premium price for all their corn that they were turning into ethanol. And that's why the farmers kept growing it and kept selling it to them. And the government kept doing the program. It's not mandated by anybody. It's a bunch of pooey.
I agree.
It's a waste of resources. It's a way to starve more people. Not in the U.S., but everywhere else on the planet. Because aren't we the world's breadbasket? Aren't we supposed to feed the world from the United States? Don't we grow more corn and beans and wheat than anybody else on the freaking planet? Aren't we supposed to be the breadbasket of the planet? We were told that when we were kids. They touted all that when we were kids. Be a farmer. In Illinois, growing up in Illinois, that's what they wanted. FFA was huge. Grow up and be a farmer. We got to feed the world. Now we got to fuel the world, I guess. Right? Us and Saudi Arabia. Okay, I'm sorry. Ranting.
Oh, no, keep ranting. We always like your rants.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
What was that saying? I heard there's more fruit in a rich man's shampoo than there is on a poor man's plate.
Isn't that a shame, dude? Isn't that a shame?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about perspective, man. And we don't get any here in the United States because they don't show us the truth on TV. You don't see those starving kids anymore, except maybe on Saturday afternoon. If you're watching TV with your kids, you might see a little commercial. Come on. Give us $25 a month. Why? So you can have a circular driveway and a helicopter? None of that money goes to those people. Very, very little. I think there's only like 2 or 3 organizations in the United States that are worth a shit as far as giving your money to, donation-wise, as far as helping people. Red Cross is a joke. I think 70% of what you go to them, of what you give to them, is eaten up in administrative costs. Very little of it actually gets to the victims of natural disasters or whatever. It's a joke. It's all about people getting rich in this country, pulling on your heartstrings to get you to open your wallet so that they can keep your money. You want to help somebody? You really want to do something for somebody that's starving? Go buy them a bag of groceries and drop it on their doorstep. How about knocking on their door one evening? Hey, man, why don't you get the kids and the wife? Jump in the car with me. Let's go out and get a pizza.
Or better, like yeah, have it delivered randomly.
Yeah. Yeah, just call up and give them the address, pay for it. Send your neighbor a pizza. Somebody's down on their luck. Help them feed their kids for a night. Take a little load off of them, you know? Maybe help them sleep really good that night because they know their kids got a full belly and they'll be ready to go to school in the morning.
Do you have, I don't know how it is in your town, but I'm not going to say at every corner, but at a lot of major intersections, there's somebody standing there, homeless, out of work, whatever, holding a placard. Does that happen around you?
Not in this town that I'm in right now. Thank God.
No?
Thank God.
This is a pretty,
you know, I got to tell you, the small towns, you don't really see that much. When I lived in Houston, I lived at 1960 in Kirkendall, and there was a lot of homeless people underneath the interstate. There was a lot of homeless people all over that area of Houston. They'd find different places to hang out. You'd see them down back roads, you know, where they cut a road off into an area that they were going to put a subdivision in, and all of a sudden it got stopped and they quit construction or whatever. You drive down that dead end road, because sometimes we'd take a trip down there to see if anybody stole a car and set it on fire or whatever and try to get a tow. And you'd drive down there and turn your brights on and you'd see them standing down at the end of the cul-de-sac, you know, got their tents all set up on the yards and whatever, just hanging out, living, you know, making do however they can. And then in the morning times, they go down, walk down. It's probably 3 miles to the interstate, and they'd hang out there with their signs trying to sell fruit and whatever they had, you know. They'd wash windows if they were, you know, if there was big traffic jams or whatever. You'd see them run out with their spray bottles and try to make a buck or two. It's sad, dude. It's sad. A lot of those homeless that you see, people, are veterans of this country.
No doubt.
Think about that when you see them. And
more and more becoming Iraqi veterans. I mean, there's always been Vietnam veterans. For some reason, World War II veterans, you never saw destitute like that, or you just never heard about it. But Vietnam veterans, a lot of them.
That's back when families took care of them.
True. And there's more Iraqi ones, veterans now.
PTSD. Can't, you know, tried to make it home, tried to stay with the family, couldn't do it, couldn't make ends meet, couldn't get their head right, whatever.
Yeah, well, a lot of them, you know, that I see standing around here, you know, they're always standing at an intersection. So I'll go into a 7-Eleven, or I don't know if you have those out there, but Circle K, 7-Eleven, and get a $5 store card, you know, and then hand it to them, give it to them.
Yeah, just buy him a sandwich.
He can go in there and buy alcohol if he wants, but at least, you know, you would hope that they wouldn't.
See, that's the whole thing. I'll let you know what happened to me down in Houston. Driving a wrecker, I made pretty good money. And I'd see these guys. And there was this one dude in particular. I don't know what it was about him, but he just looked extra down on his luck. I mean, if you can pick between homeless people. But this guy just looked pretty bad. It looked like he'd been out there for quite a while. He was pretty weathered. Looked like he hadn't, you know, had a bath in a month and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'd see him under that overpass almost every day. Sorry. And one day I decided to stop and I gave him $50. You know, I just pulled the truck over and got up on the sidewalk next to him, turned my overheads on and jumped out and walked over and talked to him for a minute and got my wallet and I gave him $50. And I told him go get himself something to eat and get himself cleaned up and, you know, try to make a good night of it. I went and did a couple calls and I came back through there and the sun was just about going down. It was about 3:00 when I saw him, gave him the money. And I went back underneath that overpass and that son-of-a-bitch was sitting there with a case of beer. Yeah, with a case of beer and a bottle of booze. And that's, I mean, I didn't say anything to him. If that's what he wanted to do, that was his life, you know. But that was the last time I started giving money. That's the last time I gave money. After that, I started giving food. You know, if I thought they needed something to eat, like you said, I'd go down the road to the gas station or, you know, to a restaurant or whatever, and I'd grab a couple sandwiches, some fries, a couple Cokes, and I'd run back down and I'd drop it off to the people that I thought would, you know, wanted it or whatever, needed it. That's, you know, so I don't give money. I don't give money. I give things that I think they'll need.
Mm-hmm. I give umbrellas.
You know, people do that. I've seen guys go into a Payless or whatever, and they'll grab a bunch of boxes of shoes that are all, you know, clearance or whatever, and they'll buy them up and go out and start handing out shoes to them. Or
I was at
blankets.
a golf tournament that had a bunch of umbrellas left over, and I took all of them, about 20 of them, 30 of them.
Cool.
And I keep them in the back of the truck. And whenever I see people out in the rain, standing there homeless, stuff like that, I just grab an umbrella out the back and hand it to them as
That's
I'm going
cool,
by.
dude. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, that could work in the summertime too. Keep the sun off their ass. Keep them from getting sunburned.
Yeah, true.
Any little thing helps, man. You know, you see these guys, I see some videos on YouTube a lot of college kids that'll go out and buy up a bunch of t-shirts and shit and just go out and start handing them out. Yeah. You know, it's
apples and oranges wrapped in t-shirts. I've saw that video.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
just little stuff, man. You never know. You might okay, just for instance, and I know almost everybody heard of this guy, the cat that did the radio talk show, that guy that worked for the radio talk show. You saw him out there homeless, standing with a sign, and he had a golden voice. And he used to work in radio, he used to work in advertising and stuff, but he got down on his luck or whatever.
Drugs.
Right. And they let him do that. They talked to him one time and they YouTubed it, and the YouTube video went viral. The guy got a job with CBS. Now he's doing voiceovers for CBS, blah, blah, blah. He got back in touch with his daughter, yada, yada, yada. I think some skeletons fell out of his closet, but you know what I mean? That one YouTube video going viral changed that guy's life back again for the better. You know, I mean, he's back on his feet. He got back in touch with his family. You know, you never know. You never know. One little thing can change somebody's life for the better.
As the story goes, you know, when somebody's trying to do good for one little thing, you know, one little animal or whatever, and somebody says, you know, why are you doing that? You can't, you know, solve the whole world's problems. But then the person looks back and says, no, but I solved that person's problem or that animal's problem or
his whole world. I changed his whole world.
Yeah, his whole world. So
people lost that.
You got to.
They lost that compassion. Most people lost that compassion. They'll drive by people. And I saw a video the other day on YouTube. Where was it at? Thailand or something like that. There was a car chase going on. These guys were running through downtown, and the dude in the front clipped a guy. Bam! I mean, somebody walking the road just clipped him, and his shoe flew off, and it hit the car that had the camera. Boonk! It went right off his windshield. And that body laid in the middle of that road. Nobody did nothing, dude. Nobody did nothing. They just kept driving. They just kept walking. That guy laid there and died. He was alive when the car went by. You could see him moving when the car with the camera went by. But the little clip, the little blurb at the end of the video said that he laid there for 20 minutes in the middle of that road and nobody helped him. And he died.
Yeah. And it stems back to, you know, a lot of people have gotten screwed over by helping somebody else.
Oh yeah. Because there's scumbags out there that'll take advantage of you.
There are. And, you know, if you haven't gotten taken once or twice in your life, you haven't tried to help out enough people. You know, some people are going to scam you and some of them aren't, but, you know, to lump everybody, into one category, you know.
I remember back in the early 90s, one of the big things was, you know, scumbag little assholes would pull their car over the side of the road, throw the hood up on it and act like they were broke down, turn the four-wheelers, you know, four ways on or whatever, and wait for somebody to pull over and help them, and then rob them. So people stopped helping on the side of the road. You could be laying there bleeding to death, and people just drive by because they're scared of getting taken. You know, they're scared. They're scared. Everybody lives in fear. Everybody lives in fear. Nobody lives in love anymore. Nobody's got that open heart. Nobody's got that hand to help somebody else out. because they think everybody's a scam artist. Now, granted, there's a lot of scam artists out there, but there's a lot of people that genuinely need help too. And when you look past them all, what does that make you besides scared? Does that make you selfish a little, maybe? You know, that you can't offer of yourself to somebody that needs you. People turn their back on their own families now, you know. Look at what I'm doing with my mom. I'm taking care of her the best I can. It's difficult. Every day is difficult. But I'm not turning my back on her. You know, I'm not just going to toss her in a nursing home because she's a inconvenience to me now. You know, a lot of people think that though. Shit, they treat their kids that way. Kids screwing up in school, let the cops deal with it. I'm just going to call the cops. I've had it. Let the school deal with it. Let them throw them in school suspension for the rest of the year. Who cares? I got something to do. I got to get on Facebook and update my status. I got a golf game. Sorry, Lance, no offense. You know what I mean, though? I mean, you get where I'm going with that. You see that all the time around you. I know you got to. You live in a big city.
Yeah.
They just don't get it anymore. You know, people just don't get it. Too self-absorbed, too distracted, too whatever.
Well, I think a lot of them do, but the older ones still do, but they just don't play as much of a part in our everyday lives as the frontline people that you see when you go out to the stores and stuff like that.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be money that you're giving people. You can give them advice, so long as it's good advice, something that didn't get you screwed up. You can give them a hand raking their leaves. Give them a hand mowing their yard. Just a smile sometimes can change somebody's day. Everybody looks past the little stuff, you know. They want to try to save the world. Why don't you try saving your neighborhood first? You know? Try there. Try doing something around your hometown to make it a little better. Bring something up at your city council. You know, you got a particular area of your town that's really run down. Why don't you go sit in on a meeting and say, hey, why don't we try throwing a little bit of money over there at that? The kids need a new park. The swing set's looking pretty shitty. You know?
Well, I've said it before. Join a civic group in your local area, a Lions, a Kiwanis, a Rotary. All civic groups do good for their local community, and you can do it as a team because it's too hard to do it by yourself.
Right.
Because the world needs more of it. That's for damn sure. Look around. The police, I mean, we're in a world of hurt right now.
Yeah.
We need to band together and help each other out because we're in a world of hurt right now.
I saw a bumper sticker today that said, I think it was on Facebook, that said, support your police department, beat yourself up.
That's right. I saw that on Facebook today.
Yeah, that was
it was a bumper sticker on Facebook. Yeah.
But, you know, here's one other thing. When you're talking about joining a Kiwanis or something like that, a local municipality group. Mm-hmm. Back in my hometown, actually it was in Champaign County, there was a bunch of guys that got together and dedicated their services as carpenters to people in the area that would need stuff done, like disabled people, disabled veterans. VFW sent them out a lot to do things. They built ramps. They built ramps to get into people's houses and stuff. You know, like if they had to go through surgery and lost a leg, or were going to be wheelchair bound for a while, and they would do it for free. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times they would actually go around to different lumber yards and get the lumber yards to donate the materials for free too, just by bending their ear.
If you want to plug the website, it's rampsacrossamerica.com. If you want to volunteer your services.
Yeah, they weren't affiliated with that. It was just a local bunch of guys that did it.
But no, though, that's a nationwide one.
There is one.
And they send them out, these different groups out and stuff. They work with the other groups.
Yep.
But the lady right here local started it, and I learned about it when my friend was paralyzed and we had to build a ramp.
Yep.
But if you want to volunteer your services, ramps across America, if you know how to work with your hands.
Or how about just going out for some elderly people in your neighborhood that need some help every once in a while? Go out and, go volunteer to go get groceries for them one day. Or, different stuff. I mean, give of your time, especially if you're like 95 or 100 million other people in this country and you don't have a job, you got a shitload of time on your hands. Do something constructive with it. If you're bored like hell sitting around in front of your computer on Facebook all day, shut the sumbitch off and go outside and do something for your community.
Habitat for Humanity is one of our groups that builds houses.
Swing a hammer. Yeah, everybody can swing a hammer.
Yep.
Even if you don't know anything about construction, they want people to lump lumber to them. They want people to walk around and clean up the job sites and shit like that, man. You get a free hard hat out of it and a free t-shirt. Go on. Make a day of it.
Yeah, you feel good about it too.
Yep. All you people that are up in the northern climates that still got snow all over the place, it don't hurt you to shovel a little bit for somebody. Because I know there's a lot of people that are asshole deep in snow. They're still talking about it today up the East Coast. Man, we got 10 more inches coming, and then 50 degrees on top of that. And that's, wow.
Did you see the guy that used his flamethrower?
Yeah. He almost went to jail.
Yeah, he got a ticket for it.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. It got the job done.
It did.
But, okay, we're down to the last few minutes. We still got about, 5 minutes left.
Well, that's a change. We had half of the show was on a positive note and all about helping people instead of doom and gloom of the markets and
yeah. Well,
how corrupt our police are and everything else. We sprinkled it.
Don't get me started on the police, man. Don't get me started on the cops.
It's out of control.
Wednesday, we're going to be going off on them on Wednesday. We're going to dedicate a show to the police brutality because it is off the hook.
Out of control.
Completely. These people are beating innocent people to death. They're shooting 80-year-old men in their beds. It's got to stop, man. This crap has got to stop, and it's getting to the point now where the only way we're going to be able to get it to stop is if we start killing them while they're doing it. Hey, man, you can say nah if you want to, but I'm telling you right now, these guys are getting away with murder. They're getting away with murder.
They are. But again, that's not the way.
I know that's not the way. I'm just saying it looks like that is about the only way you can get them to stop. How do you think it would? What do you think it would have taken? Like, you think some random guy walking down the street when Kelly Thomas was getting beaten to death on the side of the road? You think if some random Joey Bag of Donuts walked up and said, "Hey, why don't you guys ease up on that dude?" What do you think would have happened to him?
Well, I'll tell you, it would take a bunch of people because I'll use that soccer game as an example.
But those guys on the soccer field didn't have guns.
There was a lot of people.
I'm telling you right now, if you start doing in this country what they're doing in the Ukraine, those people would get mowed down.
They would get more violent. Yeah, they'd bring in the MRAPs and everything else and take total control.
So hey, what's it going to take? I mean, you can't talk to reasonably to the sons of bitches, right? So what's it going to take?
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going with it? I'm not wishing it on anybody. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm a realist. You cannot talk sense to these people. You cannot. I saw a thing on Facebook just a couple days ago about a cop that got arrested for raping a girl, and he told the court that he thought his sentence was unjust. He got fired from his job, and I think he got 10 years for rape. And he told him it was unjust. So you can't, that's what I'm saying. You can't talk sense to these people. So what is it going to take, Lance? What is it going to take to get them to stop?
I don't know. And if you did a poll in the room, I don't believe everybody would say that they see their police force as the brutal dictators that we're seeing on a lot of YouTube videos. in the city part of it, I could see some of that here. But over in York County, where I just moved back out of, no way. I mean, those cops were either they're great actors. But again, I mean, I'd like to see a poll of the people listening. You know, do you see your police department, do you view them the same way as the Oakland, you know, police department or some of those other ones that are out of control?
Look at all the, I don't know if you listen to Jules' show in the morning, so I know sometimes you do. But look at all the stories coming out of the Southwest, man. The New Mexico cop, the couple of cops that took the guy in for, they kept him in the hospital for 17 hours, dude. They did an anal probe on him 3 times.
Yeah, I remember that.
Trying to find, you know, that's out of control, dude. That's effing out of control.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that wasn't the only one. They're strip searching people on the sides of the freaking road for speeding. Made one woman dump her tampon out and shit so they could check her twat for drugs. You know, come on, dude, on the side of the road, are you serious? That's out of control, brother. These people think that they own this goddamn joint, and they need to be taught a lesson. You people are public servants. If you wear a badge on your chest, you're a public servant. Go get me a goddamn glass of water. 'Cause I pay your salary, jackass. I feel sorry for the next cop that stops me. You better have a goddamn good reason for turning your lights on behind my truck, pal.
It'd be all your bumper stickers that say, "Pull me over, bitch, I dare you."
Yeah, support the police. Beat yourself up. No, if I get pulled over, it'll be because of that Oath Keeper sticker on my back windshield. That's what'll get me pulled over. 'Cause that's the most prominent one right now.
I mean, like I've talked to my friends that are in the police department and the National Guard and everything else. Man, that place is infiltrated with Second Amendment supporters. So I don't know.
There's a lot of them out there, man, but they're keeping their mouth shut.
Out there. They have to. I mean, you know that. They have to.
I know.
Until the time's right, they have to. So let them.
It's going to get bad.
They know.
All right.
They know.
Parting shots. What do you got? Parting shots.
Oh, man, just keep being kind to everybody.
Yeah.
Peace and love.
Spread that peace and love, everybody. Do something really good around your neighborhood sometime this week, will you? We'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to tear the cops up on Wednesday. I promise I'll have at least 5 stories that will make you
boil.
Yeah. Need a Valium. So you guys hang on. Stay tuned. Brandon Turbeville's up next. And then the Anti-Media Radio coming on after him with Nick Burnaby. So UCY TV, we got one more live show tonight. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Lance.
Oh, you're welcome. Peace and love.
Yep. We'll see y'all.